Goated and goated. All righty, y'all. Namaste, 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 Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hassan Ghazi Obey here in Morocco at Northwest of Mexham. How are you? I'd like to welcome you all to our 7-day tropical medical astro weather report for the 23rd to the 29th, March 2023. I'm here with my magnificent and beloved brothers in whom I'm well pleased, and they are...
Islam, Islam, Islam people. I am Terrell Tamari Bay. How are you today?
Sauce.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Brother Sean Lane Ale. You know all is well. Bros, what you used to call me also, bro?
Braveheart. Y'all are freaking hilarious, man. All righty, guys, let's get it started. Right? Let me just go and screen share right here, right now, and bring up the calendar, right? And in doing so, guys, you guys see right before you, we have our 7 Hill Star Astro calendar from March Aries 2023 to February Pisces 2024. Time never was when man was not, and we're quoting Al-Hajj Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, doing religious corporate activity via affidavit, being prophet, noble, Drew Ali. All right. So with that being said, guys, we are here for the sun cycle. All right. The sun has finished up this cycle pertaining to the water sign, Pisces, the fish, anciently and still contemporarily ruled by Jupiter, however, contemporarily assisting Jupiter in its rulership, according to modern astrology. And modern astrology doesn't mean it's better. Modern astrology is how people observe astrology now. In the moment, doesn't make any one system better than the other. Neptune is co-ruling and being an assistant to Jupiter, right? Sun is currently transiting its exaltation sign, right? Sun is exalted in Aries, and right now the sun is actually transiting the fire sign Aries, the ram, which is anciently and contemporarily ruled by Mars, right? It's interesting because Mars in Roman mythology is called Ares, A-R-E-S, though, however, right? And I think it's Mars in, in Roman mythology, it's Mars. In Greek mythology, it's Ares, A-R-E-S. So it's interesting how still you kind of get in the mix of what they call Roman and Greek mythology, just with the sign sounding like the, Greek god, and the planet that's ruling that sign is the Roman god, right? When you're checking those mythologies, right? Said mythologies. So guys, as you know, we're here for the 23rd to the 29th, right? Pertaining to March 2023. And for the 23rd, it is I, Brother Hassan Ghazi Obey, kicking it off with that Plutonian ingress, right? That's kicking off tomorrow at 23 minutes after 0800 hours. All righty. And then we have a moon void, of course, that I had to triple check even my calculations, even though my bros have done their calculations. And that's why I love us, because we're very thorough in making sure that we're looking at how we're seeing our calculations pertaining to what we're observing, as far as our portions pertaining to the lunar transits. And what we actually see here, the moon's going to be void, of course, the first time for 1 hour and 29 minutes on Thursday, right? Thursday. On Friday, it is Brother Sean L with that super long list of 2 transits for the holy day, for that Friday. Saturday is our beloved brother, whom we're well pleased, Brother Terrell Tamari Bay. He has that those 2 ingresses and 2 transits. Obviously, Mars is clearly ingressing Cancer, where it's like, oh no, why am I there? However, Mars is actually exalted in Capricorn. However, don't look at debilitations and falls like that, even though that's how it's been said in many different astrological circles. It's just observing the energies pertaining to the wanderer turned planet in a particular sign, while it's also in a particular house at different times, right? So Brother Jag has a moon void course there. Also, that takes place for about 8 hours and 22 minutes. Never forget. Moon void of course is buyer's remorse. All right, so you don't want to make any major transactions while the moon is void of course for that hour and 29 minutes on Thursday and an 8 hour and 22 minutes on Saturday. For Sunday is our beloved brother still with the South, right? Terrell Tamari Bay for that Sunday. All righty, for those two transits there. Then on Monday, it is Brother Sean Aline L. He'll be completing his 3 transits with the moon void of course. It takes about 8 hours and 43 minutes when it ingresses on the day that I have. After my first transit for the 28th, right? And that's the day pertaining to the first quarter moon, right? Which means, hey, looky, Astro Cookie, coming up soon on the first full moon pertaining to the new year, right? And again, happy new year to you all. Happy vernal equinox, of course, again to you all, right? And we know the first Sunday, right? The first quote unquote Sunday, right? After the full moon is what's termed Easter, right? Easter. All right. So I have the 28th, of course, with those 4 transits and 1 ingress. When it's ingressing its domist sign, which means it will soon be conjunct Mars, right? Which is the transit that it experiences immediately, about 3 hours almost, just 2 hours and 57 minutes after its ingress. And then for Wednesday, closing us out with the South is our beloved brother, in whom we're well pleased, Brother Terrell Tamari Bay for the 29th. All right, where Cancer is still hosting the moon, of course. And that is the last day that we will see a sunrise occur and within the 0700 hour marking, right? Because it's coming up on summertime. Summertime, right? So you guys will see your sunrises occurring a lot sooner here in the Northern Hemisphere. While, in the Southern Hemisphere, there's a experience of the, now it's going to be equal nights, equal days, right? So you're looking at 12-hour days, of course. It looks like the 29th, it'll be a 12-hour and 23-minute day, right? Of the sun, right? Being what it is, right? So with that being said, of course, then when technically on the Southern Hemisphere, it would then be only 11 hours and 47 minutes of sunlight happening, right? Sort of, kind of. And anyway, because that's what's left in the nighttime, right? But anyway, for us. So Brother Jag will be completing with those 3 transits there, all lunar, 2 sextiles and a quartile, right? So that will complete at that portion. That will complete once we're all the way through it, right? And guys, we just want you to kick back and relax and enjoy what we are about to get going. So with that being said, I am going to start the screen share 2 seconds.
Jag, you on your laptop, bro?
No.
You said no?
No.
Indeed. Okay. All right.
I can, you want yours?
Indeed. Yeah, I'll do the entering. It's great because like a sun cycle ago, it was not working for me. I don't know why.
So, you good? You got it?
Yeah. And yes, we'd like to thank you all to our 7-day tropical medical astro weather report, as we're about to get things started for you. Brother Sam will be starting us out with that Plutonian, right? Plutonian ingress into Aquarius. I know a lot of astrologers and have been talking about it here recently, and we're about to see the effects. I remember I seen one was like, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was in 1777 when the quote unquote French revolution happened, pertaining to that. So this will be a very interessante. All right. And make sure you visit 7hillstar.com. Make sure you sign up for our email list so you will be emailed. But it'd be much better to subscribe to the YouTube so that you will get a notification when we do go live. All right, and while you're on the 7hillstar.com website, make sure you check out everything that we have to offer, plus more. Any words for you, Brother Jad?
Anyway, nope. What you just said. Yep. It's, Wait, who's got Thursday? Is this on?
Oh yeah, it's bro, but I think he just received a call. So yeah,
alrighty.
Just kind of monologuing.
Got you. Yeah, well, yeah, man. You know, definitely get into your astrological studies, people. With that Pluto going into Aquarius, oh my God, yeah, I can see why it happened with Pluto being in Aquarius. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, it's the age of Aquarius and Pluto's in Aquarius.
Oh my God, they lied.
I wish I was in Aquarius.
Oh man. Interesante.
Man, if it's like that, you know, if you don't know, now you know. It's kind of those major vibes for this you know, time and day and age. You must very well know who we are. It's all about the knowing. We ain't doing that, but leaving. Baby, baby. I used to be all a dream. I used to read CMB things. This lovely sunrise here, right? Now we're going from look at that. Leo on the 6, right? Mars rolling that. Mars about to move into Cancer, right? And the 30th house. Yeah. Well, I guess what bros handle. I guess I maybe do the sunrise for him, right? Give me that control, right?
Go for it, brother. Yes.
Give me request the controls, please.
Shoot your shot.
Yes. Give me the control instead of the green light. Give me the mode control. Ooh, hold on, do I got double? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
all right, forgive me. I really had to take that freaking call, man. That's just bananas right now. Okay, so we're looking for Pluto to ingress Aquarius. So sunrise, right? Of course, pretty sure my bros went in 2 degrees, right? 33 minutes, just 3 minutes behind 2.5 degrees. So it's between the degrees pertaining to abscesses. Literary and poetic, that's 2 degrees. 3 degrees is birds and aviators, right? Collisions and goiter. So what I really think here is for this particular sunrise, you guys are going to have to really, you know, it's funny too, because there's a lot of civics happening behind the scenes as far as making sure your correspondences are going out to the proper heads. And, you know, sue. Do not be afraid to sue these people. Put together your injunctions, your tort claims, all of that. It's definitely annoying and inconveniencing when you have to deal with putting in documentation for beings that purport to be so-called law enforcement when really actually they should have a fucking bullet put in their fucking heads. I don't give a damn what uniform they're in, what badges they have on, or whatever the case may be. 9 times out of 10, these beings are using the acting that they learn in acting classes and the psychology that they're learning from their little classes and try to make people feel like they got to be forced into something. So when it comes to, you know, shining a light on the heads, right? Because sun's transiting Aries, I really think that this will be a time for people to really take themselves seriously and really start doing some things to the point where you're just preemptively putting things out there. And what you'll see is people will, especially policy enforcers, lawyers, so-called sheriffs, what they'll look to do is try to find other angles to try to inconvenience how you are. And I think the issue that's really going to be brought to light, especially with Pluto ingressing Aquarius, which will be my first transit, is going to be a lot of people that are going to look for some transformations and sudden changes to really occur. Because Pluto is a higher vibration of Mars. Mars currently transiting before ingressing Cancer, is still transiting, finishing up in Gemini. Gemini is very police to me, right? When I think of police, I'm thinking Gemini, I'm thinking Mercury, I'm thinking third house energy, right? And with that being said, I really think it's coming to a time where the people have to stop being bitch asses. Seriously, you got to stop being scared of these people and start really using your pen ahead of time, knowing how to sue, looking at like the documents or forms on US courts, website, and really reading the instructions. You'll see how easy it is to put in simple injunctions and stuff like that. All right. And telling you from experience, actually, currently. So with that being said, you'll be able to make sure that you're really not exalting some head of some corporation or group. What you're exalting is what people are ruled by. What's the ideals that really create what they see as some authoritative position. And what you'll be actually able to do is further combust those mercurial local beings who call themselves law enforcement. You guys have to get some fucking balls and backbone out here, all right? So that you can make sure that you're putting in the documentation necessary to make these people's lives a living fucking hell. Is that clear? I'm so serious. You guys have to make these people feel like they can't reach their bank accounts. None of that shit. Need to really know how to do these liens. If you want to do that, well, you need to put a lien on their assets. Cool, great. Do it. Right? Sue these people. And it's got to happen on a large scale. It can't just happen with like, oh, these few people here and those few people there. No. Make it so these people know not to fuck with you. You need to inconvenience them 10 to 12 times as much as they inconvenience you and your loved ones. Let's just make sure of that. So that's why I said I had to definitely, that call was so apropos because of the energies that I've been observing as far as the astrology is concerned. And I know people all the time, especially those that are near our lawful living community, are having to deal with so many things such as that. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I yield the floor. Islam? Yeah, bro, I'm live right now. I might have to call you back. All right. All right, peace. All righty. So Pluto ingresses, right? We're looking at the 10th house here. Look at the looky astro cookie. What are we inheriting? Are we inheriting a sudden change? Are we actually transforming the knowledge poured out to us? Maybe we are. And the structure pertaining to it, because Saturn is clearly ruling over. And while it's kind of in the 11th house, right? Saturn has accidental dignity in the 11th. So what's actually happening here, there is really a means of really having to deal with the structures of institutions and really making sure that we are allowing ourselves to allow that inner child within us to be able to properly communicate how it is that we particularly enjoy to stand. However, if you're just looking at just in the 11th house alone, actually is really just Saturn and Neptune are in the 11th house. And so what we're really looking at is some real essential spiritual isolations that are really here to be instituted, right? In other words, we'll have an inner standing because institute is inner standing. Right. So for those because constitute is withstanding, right? With the root stit, S-T-I-T, pertaining to stand, right? Con is with, in is in, right? So we have the in standing, or the standing in with ourselves, as far as some particular isolations that are essential to us making some spiritual sudden changes, so to speak, right? Maybe we need to take time, take a breath or whatever, so that we'll be able to be this, actually disposit, these transformations that are very necessary when it comes to the sudden changes in our life, based on the knowledge and information that's poured out to us. Right now, you guys can, like I said, there's only 3 websites you need to be concerned with. One website, the first one, is rvbaypublications.com. All righty, which I hold on to my principles very strongly, and making sure that I'm observing everything that's there and staying within that, because I'm, particularly in my 9th year pertaining to study. So all the information that's very transformative that's been shared via the internet can really help us make sure we're structuring how we stand in the world, right? Because standing is also 10th house, right? One's status, one's so-called quote unquote career, how you're viewed by the public when held on high, or viewed by your peers when you're actually in front of them. So this Pluto ingress, and I think Pluto's only going to be here for about maybe 2 degrees or so of Aquarius before it, appears to be retrograde, right? And I think what we can observe here is the transformations that are highly necessary, all righty, for us utilizing the information that's been poured out to us, especially via the internet. And now we really have to make some structural sense of it and stand accordingly. All righty. Don't beat yourself. Make sure you treat yourself and allow your pen to do the work necessary to hold all servants, right? Because remember, these beings that are so-called attorneys, policy enforcers, sheriffs, guys, learn how they're constructed and then transform these groups, right? Pluto, these Aquariuses, right? Transform these groups in their structure by holding them to their fucking rules. With that, I yield the floor. Islam. My next transit, actually, let me bring it up here so I can also see on my phone, yeah? I want to be able to see my astro calendar on my phone also. So with that being said, okay, there we go. With that being said, next, it is interesting. While Pluto's ingressing Aquarius, now Luna and Mars are sextile, and this is the last transit that Luna makes before egressing Aries and then ingressing its exaltation sign, Taurus. So at 29 degrees, 9 minutes, both of them, Mars and Luna. However, Luna is in Aries at 29 degrees, 9 minutes, and Mars is at 29 degrees, 9 minutes in Gemini. All right, so with this particular sextile taking place, we do see that Luna's in the 10th house. All righty, Luna's clearly in the 10th. And I'm going by the celestial longitude, not its physical placement as it looks on the chart here, guys. It's due to the fact that the glyphs of the planets are rather large. So the software is just making space for this to be read legibly and intelligibly. So we see that Luna's clearly in the 10th house. So again, we're really making ourselves home in how we're really structuring ourselves. And the ideals, we're really allowing ourselves to secure ourselves with these ideals that will help to discipline the people, especially those that take cutting action, right? Mars, when it comes to their fraternal orders, Gemini, while seemingly trying to hide 12th house, that which pertains to their own careers, part of fortune. And the sudden changes that are going to be necessarily made pertaining to that group. Now we're talking the 11th house, dealing with Uranus, Venus, and really just Yeah, just Uranus and Venus. Actually, more Uranus, because even Venus and North Node are in the 10th house with Luna. Looky. Astro cookie. That is a packed 10th house, baby. So how are things really moving forward for the overall? Well, what we can see is that the values of the group are going to have to be put on the scales pertaining to Ma'at, right? And the reason why this has to happen is because there's going to have to be a sudden change that takes place without people being pushed back. You can sit here and try to go and protest and hold up picket signs and things of that nature. I would advise that you read these people's rules, hold them to their rules. And if and when they don't stick to their rules, or someone's not, everybody in a de facto is not bad, right? There's got to be someone out there that's in good behavior, right? Where we should always be. We should always be in good behavior. We should not be attracting situations to ourselves where municipal agents want to inject themselves into our lives. However, if they think that they can, I think being preemptive, that means before some shit happens, we actually see what their rules are. You guys wanted to learn how to play a game? You read the fucking objective. So you really want to see how these different policy enforcers and sheriffs, so-called sheriffs and their deputies, and these barristers, these bar members, read their rules, hold them to their rules. Make bar grievances. Complain to the Office of Bar Counsel for whatever so-called state bar, right? They're getting their certificates from the so-called Supreme Court of the state. Make your complaints. There's people that are so-called judges sitting bench. You guys need to learn how to fucking make complaints so that you can be the people that actually are at the head and the helm pertaining to those prophetic ideals that have been given to you long ago in the past, so that you can be able to bring the essentials forward. Bring those essential things forward so that you can be able to actively unveil all the communications that are going in the so-called fraternal orders, period. You got to be fearless. Stop being scared of these beings because they all put shiny pieces of metal on their titties or something. Oh, I'm in one color garment and I have a Glock 40 with 17 shots in the clip. Fuck you. Clearly. And I'm saying that respectfully, because I know what it is. So don't get upset with me when I ask a question. Was the so-called DC snipers really randomly shooting people, or were they actually the ones that were going after beings who were being corrupt? That's just a question to throw out there, honestly, because I think that people are going to all come to a point where you're going to realize, like, if these beings aren't following their own rules and we put in the documentation necessary, however, your spirit's got to be in order. You can't be Negro black colored. You can't be calling yourself a white person or a yellow person or orange person. You can't be on that stuff. So then your spirit isn't correct for you to effectuate what needs to be put on the record, what needs to be written and sent as either a private notice or something that's on the record if it's something that's within some type of court docket. Because in order to effectuate the correct spirit and call upon the latent powers of Prophet Noble Drew Ali as a matter of defense at any time, one would have to be in harmony with and have at the forefront pertaining to their mind, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Trust I made myself clear on that one. Luna, sextile, Mars. With that, I yield the floor. The next transit is after this void of course moon for about 1 hour and 29 minutes. So make no major transactions, guys. Alrighty, from about 1313, right, post meridian eastern, until about 1442 and 12 seconds thereafter. Very interesting, though, what's happening all at this same time as Luna ingresses, right? As Luna ingresses Taurus, it's squaring Pluto at the same damn time. You know what I mean? So I think that's very, very interesting that while Luna makes its ingress into its exaltation sign, it is quartile, right? 90 degrees all right, from Pluto. And Luna's in the ninth house. Very, very interesting that not only is Luna in the ninth, but the sun is in its joy also in the ninth house. Luna is in its joy in the third when it's there. However, if we really just kind of see this, which also having accidental dignity is Jupiter. So who's ruling over that ninth house? Looky, Astro Cookie. It is Neptune, which is also in the ninth house. Neptune, Sun, Mercury, Chiron, Jupiter, are all there on the ninth. And forgive me, Luna's actually in the 10th, guys. Let me make my correction. Luna's in the 10th under the rulership of Mars at 29 degrees, 11 minutes in Gemini. So I stand corrected. Pardon the loud and incorrectness there. Luna is literally 0 degrees, 0 minutes in Taurus, ingressing within the 10th house. A lot of 10th house energy here. All righty. And being under Mars is a rulership pertaining to actors. I think that people are going to find that they're going to have to clean up their act. You guys may actually see other acts and ideals pertaining to acts. People are going to try to possibly be putting into effect to try to make the people be under a further hypnosis pertaining to how they're actually under agriculture, right? People are being treated like crops. They're under a human experiment. People is the moon, agriculture is Taurus, and their standing is the 10th house. So do you stand to be someone that's a human experiment under the Department of Agriculture? However, one who would have to be that is not just the regular people, just the normal sentient beings. This would have to be agents, federal, state, municipal agents. And you're actually a state agent if you take on a state agency's document, like the said state ID or state driver's license. If you're not working for these beings, state, federal, or municipal, why have their documentation? You wouldn't have a Costco ID, and you wouldn't have a Costco employee's ID if you didn't fucking work for Costco. So with the 10th and 6th house square here happening, very interesting though. That's actually 5 houses away, very creative, right? One could be in making the changes necessary in a group service. And that group service, some people will say that they're there to serve and protect. I'm going to take this back to those beings who are really just they're just private security guards enforcing insurance policies. And the people need to make sure that they are not valuing the standing of those beings. So you must stimulate a challenge to their jurisdiction. That's the theme that I'm sticking with this degree. Challenging the jurisdiction of those who think their fraternal order of police or bar association or sheriff's associations or commissions or whatever they call themselves. The people need to stop being fucking docile. And you need to make sure you read these beings' rules and then just ask them questions ahead of some bullshit happening. Hey, just checking out the truthfulness pertaining to your jurisdiction. By what authority would you be doing A, B, or C, or X, Y, and Z? That's the type of correspondences that the people need to be having. So stimulate that change that's necessary. Stimulate that transformative change in their service by being the kind of people that seeks to value themselves and then measuring the value of the standing of those being observed, thus may being seen like to be a challenge to that particular group that's being asked about. However, this is hold the group to their obligation type of transit. And with that, I yield the floor. So after me going in on that ingress as well as that quartile, that lunar Plutonian quartile, my last transit for this particular degree is Luna sextile Saturn. It's happening about 1700 hours and 56 minutes, right? Or 5:56:29 post meridian for the 23rd March 2023, right? From our perspective near the Baltimore Corporation, Maryland State Republic. So Luna and Saturn are 60 degrees in aspect from each other. So let's see where Luna is. At 1 degree, 52 minutes, right? In Taurus, which it is in the 8th house. Looky, Astro Cookie, right? So being there in the 8th house, Luna is really just really securing the values to other people's finances, right? Because 8th house is second to the 7th. So the 8th house will be the values to the relationship, what's valued in the contract. And I think that people are really going to be analyzing and really doing their best to grasp what is the measure pertaining to the obligations and the benefits of obligations that beings have taken a part of based on their contracts. And so with that being said, one will be able to thoroughly communicate what is necessary to be able to bring forth the isolated structure pertaining to one's service. There is a fated relating that must take place amongst the groups of people that is necessary who make it their everyday job to be disciplinarians and isolate in doing an isolated service or a service that isolates beings from one another. And again, I'm going to stick with my theme here. The people must be able to communicate that which is necessary in finding out how groups of private security guards, falsely termed police, which actually is really an actual term alluding to insurance policy enforcement, not law enforcement. You guys have to come out of the hypnosis of looking at these people as law enforcement. If they were law enforcement, then they would be doing what needs to be done for the people according to their municipal codes and statutes under which they've been organized. I'm open for correction. We have our beloved son in whom we're well pleased, John Alexander Dix, chilling in the green room. What do you say? Do I need correction here?
I don't think so.
Okay. Just wanted to ask. Just really wanted to know there, right? And I guess when I'm complete, I'll be able to share this out, guys, do my editing on the fly, but at the same time, I'm co-piloting this thing along with my beloved brother, Braveheart L, and making sure we're getting these next transits up accordingly. All righty. So with that being said, make sure that people, make sure you have the essentials necessary for you to be able to value and measure the structure, right? Value and measure the structure pertaining to what is valued, what is the obligation that is supposed to be taken by those who seemingly are in the so-called service industry pertaining to isolating beings or incarcerating beings also, right? Because Pisces, Saturn's in Pisces while having this partile sextile to the moon, right? Pisces is not only spirituality and isolation, sir, it's also incarceration. Incarceration is not always negative, all righty, because nuns and monks incarcerate themselves in their cell when they go to rest and recharge from dealing with their day. That doesn't mean that they've alleged or purport to have done something, quote unquote, wrong, right? So that's how that goes. So I want you guys to be able to broaden your vocabulary and your perspectives, all righty? And look up the, go on Amazon Prime and look up the movie Idiocracy. And make sure you're not those grunting dumbasses. And with that, I yield the floor to my beloved brother, in whom I'm well pleased, Brother Sean Alim Islam. Happy Ramadan, by the way.
Howdy, Islam.
Yo, you're hilarious, bro.
Oh, would you looky. We got sunrise here for Friday, the holy day, March 24th, 2023. We've got the sun at 3 degrees, 33 minutes. So that's some 333 energy there, which equals to a 9. So you're able to see within the sub levels pertaining to, the Son, Father, and Holy Ghost, the sun, moon, and rising between yourselves. You'll be able to start to see things more clearly and able to access different information within yourself that you have always had within you. It just took some recognizing and realizing of what that is. So give some service to yourself and really dive deep within yourself. Right, really take you a long trip east and find some gems that you have within you that can light up your fire. And so that you can always see that you are always connected to the unseen, whether you like to call them ancestors, past loved ones, in that fashion, that you are connected, and that there is love outside of yourself and also within yourself there. Right? Mars, final dispositor for the charts, and the third, all right, in Gemini. So yeah, the light is being shined upon. You're seeing the two sides of things, as Brother Simon was going in about snapping out of the hypnosis, right? So yeah, a lot of beings gonna be fired up when I get to post this, or when they just come across this conversation. And even if it's not even from us, and if you hear those sirens, boom, that's a confirmation that yeah, just because things have been done one way doesn't mean it's the right way. Or just because everyone else is doing or no one else is saying anything doesn't make it right. So when you come into the other side, like, hold on now. They said they're enforcing law, but when they give me that so-called ticket, it says statutes or codes. So, and then you start to look up what are laws, codes, and statutes, and you're able to start seeing that difference. And then you'll see, I'm gonna shout out Malika here. Why are they even talking to you? Right? If you're private, not doing anything for the job and any of that, they're not supposed to be talking with you, dealing with you, anything of that fashion. Right? And they don't know their own laws either. So it's, Mars and Gemini, it's the people and these agents both knowing their jobs and not going by assumptions, because assumptions is not truth. And with that, I will yield the floor. Moving on to a lunar Venusian conjunction. We already know that, this ain't young Jock, but it's going down in Taurus, right? Luna and Venus, it's going down, right? All right, so this is occurring in the second house, whichy looky. Venus with some accidental dignity there. This is going to be an interesting time period too. Right? Luna and Venus in the second house. So you're really valuing what do you have? This is when it comes to the possessions that one has, whether it's something tangible that you can hold, or whether it's spiritual knowledge, right? Really valuing what you have. 9 degrees. Yeah, so it could be foreign. So someone might point out a skill to someone, or something. Something in that fashion that really gives you an insight. You like, you know what? You could be right about that, right? And Venus is at home in Taurus. So you're able to start putting foreign things that you might have rejected that could be of value to you. Yeah,
and then with your shout out to Mother Malika, the other two websites, 7hillstar.com. Of course, guys, go and make sure you sign up for our email list, and make sure if you're ready, you've gotten your milk from the titty that is rvbaypublications.com. Great, good, right? Got your astrology that you need, right? From not only from there, but also 7hillstar.com. And then you're really ready to make sure you're comprehending that which you've studied from RV Bay Publications, which is really the foundation. Being a part of Lawful Living, making sure if you're Moorish American, make sure you go in to Lawful Living being Moorish American. When you come out, you're Moorish American still. Don't you sit there and denationalize and start being some, undesirable. All right. Make sure you're Moorish American all the time, right? Because there's actually a comprehension for those that aren't Moorish American, they don't have. So they'll look at like what it is that you are being Moorish American as something that's like, a frivolous belief system, like being Christian or something. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, that's one order that has nothing to do with the copper tone being. There should be nobody with olive shade skin, right? Or copper tone skin that should be claiming to be Christian. Like, that just goes to show that, people don't actually know the full law, right? Like, it's one thing to know the process of how something works, but to know the law is different. And you don't have to be in some secret society to know that. You don't have to be a part of some fraternal order or lodge Masonic fraternity type stuff to know that. All right. As you can see, I and my brothers wear our fezzes freely, unmarked, with no pent down tassel. All righty. Because we are the jurisdiction. We are the right words to speak. Never forget that. I yield to you, bro. Islam.
Yeah, and just closing that out is like don't overindulge, right? Luna is also in Taurus, Venus in rulership of Taurus. Enjoy well, it's kind of Ramadan. Well, for those that are observing Ramadan, they already know. For those that don't, right? Just don't overindulge in like sweets or pleasures. Material, physical sense pleasures. Just don't overindulge. Watch the communication, right? Because this is a fuck around and kind of find out energy, right? So, be peaceful within oneself. But if things come outside of yourself that you really can't avoid, and do what you got to do. And with that, I will yield the floor. Moving on to the lunar Uranian conjunction. All right, this is gonna be definitely a meditative Friday. A lot of really reflecting on this Friday, right? Let's see, lunar Uranus is in the 8th. Hey, man, we looking good. Brother Jag, I just got to make it through Monday, bro. It might be a fortnight free, baby. You feel me?
Hey, yo. You're hilarious.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, Luna and Uranus is in the 8th house. All right. Libra on the rise being ruled by Venus. So, once again, yeah, this is maybe someone finding insights into their studies, right? Maybe thinking they've got things or they've studied it, they've read it and kind of versed it, but I think they'll be even coming to a more deeper sense of understanding that information and accessing deeper than what they thought they needed to know or how it could go, right? Also, let's see what's in there too. Venus is in there too. Yeah. Wow. All right, final spouse is Venus. So yeah, this is I'm also getting beings that are going through like their family tree, maybe. Or even just like, it's probably like some partners like those in a partnership, matrimony, whatever you like to say, probably both going through their own family like Bibles or history, the little books with all the pictures, and really just going through that together and bonding on a deeper sense, maybe mining into some family gems and also just like some family value in real estate. So maybe someone's even coming into like a farm or something like that, possibly. Why farms even coming up, but like land, acres, unseen. And really just even if this ain't like a physical sense, farming within yourself, right? Nurturing your deeper nature parts. And Uranus is there. This is breaking out of the norm. So maybe like new farming technologies or finding, studying law and knowing the difference between public and private and just really how to be harmonious. With that energy, Luna's also the people. So the people are looking to break out of the comfort zones, right? If they're really tapped into their heart space, all right, 14, nothing there. But yeah, maybe stopping the fascination and denial they have of things they see on the internet or what came to be true so that they can, really step into a humanitarian part of themselves. Just so letting go of the selfish needs and purposes to serve a higher good, right? It's kind of like I used to tell my nephew, like, or how my mom would. She would be like, it's all right to share the toys. You have so many, just share. He don't even probably forgot all about that toy, and somebody comes and grab it, and he's about to act a fool, like no. And it's like share, right, and be resourceful. Right, we all don't have to take advantage of each other, overcharge each other. We can all experience the joys, pleasures, and things that we need, just the simple necessities. If we all realize that we are here to serve each other and be of service to each other. And with that, I will yield the floor to my to Mercury Mano, brother Jaguar, Soul Sauce, or Time Realist Muhammad Bey.
Time Star
On that Saturn day, right? So
Time Star.
oh, you delineating sign language today? Cool, bro. That's
Hilarious. He's doing ASL interpreting for his transits. That's amazing.
I knew you had that sauce, bro. I always knew.
Y'all hilarious, man. Super hilarious.
Okay. So the 25th of March, right? 2023, we're looking at the sunrise, of course. The sun is in Aries, 4 degrees, Aries, 32 minutes. So this whole energy is basically, you looking to connect to the essence of things, so to speak. Specifically what gives whatever subject matter, specifically like what gives the what makes a punch an effective punch, getting to the essence or the root of that answer is basically this whole, transit through Aries, so to speak, for the next 26 days from the 25th. But yeah, like I said, really connecting to what is the or what makes this thing the character of how it is, so to speak. This is the whole clarity, that most people are looking for. Like, how does this come about? What makes Mercury the planet of intellect, and what makes Sun the planet that gives vitality? Like, that's the questions that are looking to be answered, and they are getting answered based off of determination, so to speak. So, moving on, the Mars is going to ingress into Cancer, and this is pretty good in the sense of learning how to control oneself, so to speak, right? So Mars is in the 3rd house, and this, so the exactitude of Mars going to Cancer would be in the 3rd house. Yeah, so this is just like for the next 27 days for this Mars in Cancer energy, the next 27 days from the 25th to 21st April. Just really find the beauty in connecting to your emotional aspects and how you may be feeling certain ways, in regards of tension or frustration, and to utilize that to the best of your ability rather than to your detriment. This is the time to actually destroy the things that are not beneficial, rather than to destroying oneself based off of being so moved by something that is not beneficial. You know what I mean? So it's just finding that means to basically not deal with what you don't want to deal with. Any sort of uncompromising situation or some deceitful situation, anything that's wicked or just overly fucking cruel or just like not sincere, you don't got to deal with it. So, and it being in the 3rd house at this moment, you could just find that courage to actually, it could possibly be a disagreement with, your close relative or something like that may have to bring out that sort of uncomfortable situation. However, it's for the betterment of removing things that needs to be removed, right? So, like I said, for the next 27 days with this transit, Mars in Cancer, it's not going to be out of Cancer in 27 days, but I'm saying for that 27-day increment, really observe your emotional behaviors or how you may react to certain things. And
Islam,
really
bro, can I add to that?
Think before you act, for sure. Go ahead, bro. Islam.
Yeah, just and read chapters 20 through 24.
What was
That's
it? What chapters?
also chapters 20 through 24. All right, and the Holy
What's up?
Crime,
What's up?
the Holy Instructions, marriage instructions, duty to husband, and holy instructions for thy children, and the obedience of children toward their father. Yeah, this is like very sit your house in order type energy to add on with you. I yield, Islam.
It's not. It's not. Yeah. The goal is peace. However, there's times when destruction or anger needs to be utilized to remove certain things that are not bringing you a sense of peace. All right, so that's that clarity there. So moving on, the moon's going to sextile Neptune. Moon is still in Taurus, right? So it's what, 25 degrees, right? Something like that. Yeah, 25 degrees Taurus. What's that? Alcohol. Okay. So yeah, the moon's in the 12th house. Moon's actually in the 11th house. Okay, whatever. Fucking class of this. Okay, so yeah, Neptune's in the 10th house. Okay. Yeah, just relax on this day, on this Saturday. Don't do too much. Just really connect to nature. Don't I wouldn't say not travel, but yeah, like if you're traveling, be very, very careful. Be very mindful and careful. Watch out for the deer too, specifically. But this is just the day to like meditate and not really do much. Maybe do some poetry or some singing or writing. Or this could be, just a whole reformation or recharacterization in how you may conduct yourself in business, so to speak. But yeah, this is just a relaxation day, I would say. Just really try not to do anything, but also like find that sense of mental stimulation within not doing something. So it could be reading a book, or writing a book, maybe writing a song, painting, drawing, dancing, but not too much. But if you're working out, if you're into working out, you should definitely go, do your workout thing, stimulate your mind that way. Definitely work out, yoga. But what I'm saying is, I'm basically saying, don't do what you don't want to do on this day specifically, because just don't, okay? And however that plays out. This will probably be a good time to have a movie night with your fam or the king. What you about to say, bro?
I was just saying that don't from that Bryson Tiller. Don't.
You're hilarious, man. Yeah, this is a great movie night, though. You could probably come across a lot of wisdom watching film with, your loved ones. That'd be cool. Okay, but that's enough of that. Moving on, the moon's gonna go void for 8 hours and 22 minutes. Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's also probably why I'm saying that. Yeah, because you don't want to waste your resources and then be mad. Look, and then the moon's in the 8th. You'll be like, fuck, why did I spend that? That's so funny. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so the moon's in the 8th house. It's Gemini. Mars is in the 9th house. Yeah. This is a movie night. Learning a lot of wisdom through movies that you probably watched as a child and you may have missed, or you didn't know what those things meant as a child. However, now you comprehend exactly what they said or what they meant, because you're a little bit older. You can possibly give that wisdom to your mother, because, that was like maybe her favorite movie as a child too, or she always hated that movie when you were a child, but now she loves it because y'all watched it together and it was funny or something like that. or it was just uncovering. It uncovered something very meaningful to all of you, specifically, your loved ones, the people you relate with and love. So yeah, the moon ingressing into Gemini in the 8th house. There's Mercury. Mercury's in the 6th house. Yeah, so we're going to be exposing everything that's been hidden, literally.
Yes.
So be ready for that. If you've been hiding things, tough one, right? All right. So moving on. What's I got? The moon is going to square, sextile, trine, Pluto. Yes. Yep. Okay. What's that? Ooh. Okay, moon's in the 8th house still. It's Pluto in the 4th. God, no, please, no. Why did I have this transit? Oh, all right, yeah, this is great. This is great. This is great. So yeah, Pluto in the 4th house in Aquarius. Yeah. And it's trining the moon in the 8th house. Your mother, your elder, someone very dear to you. Could be a lover, too. Yeah, you're gonna find something out that's just very uplifting. And it's gonna basically it could be very shattering too. It could be very heartbreaking, possibly. However, it's good in the sense of that it creates a whole new it gives you a whole new approach to life, so to speak. In a good way, of course. Yeah. So whatever comes out, that was hidden or whatever. Just like I said, with this Mars and Cancer, for the next 27 days, really just observe how you feel or how you may react to certain things that you may be informed about. However, it might not be something you wanted to hear, but it might be. But again, it's good for the development of one's character. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. That's me quoting Circle 7, right? Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. So that could just be self-inflicted too, though, because how you may react to some sort of information that may not be that bad, but the way you may be, processing the information makes it seem bad. It's just really observing how one processes or takes in information that one may not like, or that one may say this should be this way because of this or whatever, So Mercury, you see Mercury conjunct Chiron in the 6th house too. So it's like there's some sort of wound or something that's going to bring out that wound. Everyone has a wound. So the best bet for us all is to just deal with that wound. All right. Okay, so moving on. Sun is going to be on the ascendant, as we are to see right at this moment here. And the sun will be at 5 degrees, 32 minutes in Aries. So still that sense of connecting to what is it? That's the question. How is it and what is it? The sense of again connecting to that essence of whatever the subject matter may be. So specifically, who am I? Sun's in Aries. I want to know who I am and why I am and how the fuck did I get here, right? It's the question. And now it's you ask and you shall receive, they say, right? Yeah, it's happening. So just yield to that, and I'll just say be careful of what you ask for. Yeah, or be careful of what you wish for. Is it that one? Same thing. Yeah, whatever. But work out your mind and work out your physical body. to keep movement. Movement is very essential with this Mars and Cancer energy, because it's going to be showing you your weaknesses and your strengths and what you may need to work on, with weaknesses you may need to work on to, make it a strength, so to speak. And don't be afraid to like not know something. Like, okay, so it's okay to ask questions, and it's okay to be wrong and make mistakes, because you learn from those mistakes. You just don't keep making the same mistake over and over again. That's where the wrongness comes in at. All right, whatever. Moving on.
I wish Jax gets 6 houses and it doesn't reflect, and I get 7th.
Moving on. The moon's gonna square Saturn.
Y'all hilarious, man.
All right, moon's in Gemini now. Saturn's in Pisces. So what we got? Oh, yep. Bow. Moon's in the
Wow.
6th house.
Look at that. That was quick.
Technically, it's actually in the 7th house, but we're gonna do that. Okay, anyway. Moon in the 6th house and Saturn's in the 3rd. Super dead. Okay, yeah, that's cool. So, yeah. Oh, damn. Okay. Damn it. All right. This is. I don't like this aspect. This one. Okay. Damn. So, something in the workplace is gonna basically force someone to, basically trust in their, trust in your abilities of what you are capable of doing. Yeah. And this is like, so someone who possibly just lost their job or whatever, that more than likely just happened for you to, like trust into your, to trust your natural abilities and what you can basically produce based off of those abilities. Yeah, this is basically that challenge with the moon squaring Saturn in the 3rd house. So it's like maybe your brothers are the ones who's letting you know that you should probably trust into your trust your abilities a little bit more, or it could be the elders that's telling you, you have to, do it a certain way to be whatever you want to be. It doesn't work like that. You got to know who you are. Like, what is it? There was just Moor's brother. He said, don't, what did he say? Something about the opinion of other people. But it's like, I'm paraphrasing. Don't let someone can't make an opinion for you unless you just take that person's opinion to be like, oh yeah, like, no, you have to, basically this is the moment of like processing your own thoughts and not being so guided by someone who you may look up to, like Saturn elder, or someone who you could be looking, or someone you like, trust with, your life or whatever. Again, you still have to have your own mind and really know what works for you rather than what works for someone else, or what worked for your elder possibly, or, whoever, maybe your brother or your sister or your brother-in-law or your sister-in-law, or your uncle. Your uncle's telling you, I went to the Marines and you need to go to the Marines too because I got a Hummer. Like, what?
Wow. Wow. Really? Really? That's not materialistic. That's not Egyptian at all.
It's not materialistic at all. What do you mean? Of course it's not. Right? Yeah, that's so that's finding that balance and knowing how to move through it without being so guided by, because you can still love your elder and disagree with them. You don't have to hate them, but you don't have to let them control your life either, right?
Yeah.
Moving on. moving on. So the moon's going to sextile the sun, and this is just the opportunity. Like this could be, you know, like okay, you had that disagreement with your, let's say, grandfather or grandmother, and then you talk to your father or your mother, and it's like, hey man, you just reassured me that I can do it. Thanks, man. Because I was just scared, or I was just discouraged because granddad said I should work at Pizza Hut for 5 years, and then think about myself. Yeah, you know, something like that.
Wow.
But in a different, however it happens, right? So the sun's in the first house and the moon's in the third house. So yeah, this would be that conversation with maybe even your brother or your close sister, again, uncle or auntie, maybe. But now this is really just you have the courage to really speak on the things that seems to like deceive you and like throw you off track, right? So now it's like I can really speak on it and not be afraid of speaking on it. Yeah, that's pretty much that energy, right? So with that, I give the floor. Islam.
Islam. I think it's on Brother Braveheart. L.
Yes, indeed.
I was letting them pups out real quick while you was going in, bro.
Islam. He was letting the pups out.
Oh, Islam.
Hold on 2 seconds. Let me make sure we got this thing reside.
Folks, make sure you tune in with us on Monday for our Intuition Monday. But make sure you come to Sunday too for the AstroCivics Sunday.
That's right.
To get your concepts corrected
That's
and get
right.
that brain washed.
Get that brain washed.
Hey, man, would you like 1 or 2 spin cycles?
You're hilarious, bro. You're so hilarious. Next again
All
on
right,
that
so
thing.
all right, here we go. Sunrise for where did it go? All right,
27. I had to get you the right date there, bro.
For the 27th. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Sun's at 6 degrees, 31 minutes. All right, once again. So rolling over the 6th house, right? And a right, Virgo in degrees. So yeah, this could be a day of organizing, right? Folks are just feeling called or energized, or just that feeling of cleaning up and organizing, right? Maybe getting their headspace together, or getting their services products list together, right? Or just even getting themselves, right? Maybe making an appointment for a haircut or some hair work that day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of about it there. Mars in Cancer, right? Rolling that chart. So, and the 3rd. So, yeah, this is once again really just getting into the inner workings and nature behind just kind of like your thoughts and emotions, but this is just getting the home together. All right. So just yeah, getting everything out the home that needs to be let out. All right. So moving on. This will be occurring, I think, before sunrise. We have a lunar Mercurian sextile here. All right, so we have Luna and the 5th, and we have Mercury and the 3rd. All right, so Mercury's got some accidental dignity there. All right, being in the 3rd house. Luna's in the 5th, so yeah, 16 degrees, still another Cancerian degree. So and Mercury's at the degree of children too, right? So since beings probably are going to be maybe doing like a prep talk for the little ones, right? Maybe doing something different, words of encouragement, or just words of motivation, as some would say. Let's see, Mercury's coming off that. And yeah, probably a lot of conversations just for beings, right? Luna and Gemini, right? Just having a lot of quick conversations or just being curious, right? So asking questions, right? That is always a great thing instead of assuming. So asking questions and not getting hot-headed, right? Saturn's ruling the chart, Saturn's in the first. All right, so this is ask questions in an intelligent tone and receive a favorable reply for that energy. Yeah, flash testimonies with that. So yeah, for that. Moving on. Next, we have a Luna Jupiterian sextile. So first we're growing in how we communicate and how we feel. And now we're able to have a growth opportunity when it comes to like our subconscious and our inner feelings, but it's also along with the lines of expanding just our philosophy, right? Getting into the knowing instead of being in the belief hypnosis, right? So Luna's in the third, right? And a joy, 12th in the fourth. Okay. Jupiter's in the first. All right. So this is another Virgoan degree here. So yeah, this is when it comes to how you view yourself, or you know, how you're trying to expand or just yeah, expand just your identity out into the world. Where is it that where you feel like things aren't really working or cutting out or needs to be let go of? So you're able to, once again, ask questions or just even have conversations. So this is sparking conversations with maybe your pastor or preacher's like, hey, you know, I heard about the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary or the Septuaginta. Or, you know, I heard that, well, not I heard, but I've been reading and studying from others about just religion and dogma and just different literature and asking those questions. And having your camera ready, right, to catch him when he freezes up. But anyways, moving on. So, and really just, yeah, getting into details and organizing your mind, just really getting how does it work? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What gets me fired up? What doesn't move me? What did I used to believe? And now how did I challenge those beliefs, and how now I got into the wisdom of knowing instead of just believing, and now you're able to see those fruitions, right? They also call, you know, manifestation of that. Mars ruling the chart in Cancer, right, in the third house transiting. So yeah, just find a new passion in securing your home and your standing, just not for yourself, but for everyone. Freedom is everybody's job. I'll quote CM Bay once again. And yeah, I guess on that note, yeah, just yeah, guys, I really just say just look for ways to keep as I would say, leveling up on just any like wisdom or knowledge you've came into. Whether it's going in within yourself, whether you're reading books or you're having conversations with other beings, even so-called experts, just finding ways to know that we're always a student and a teacher in this simulation that they call life. And with that, I will yield at the floor. And you're on mute, bro, if you're saying anything. He might be on the phone.
Ready for the next one, bro?
Indeed.
All righty, here we go, Ski.
All right, so this is, yeah, last aspect for the degree. So this is occurring at 2100 hours, 39 minutes, 9:39 post meridian. All right, so you had your two sextiles during the earlier parts of the day. And now we have this lunar, Neptunian. Hey, yo, Jag, I made it through a fortnight with no 7th houses. I know you're feeling salty because you had a couple 6 houses. In my Jesus was. All right, guys, so you have Luna and Neptune making a square, which is also very stimulating. So Neptune's in the 5th, Luna's in the 8th. All right, so yeah, this is maybe even like finding some new music to listen to that might have been foreign to you, or that even brings you like a sense of renewness, right? It's like a hip hop head listening to like some rock or something different, but he's finding comfort or stimulation in something different from the norm that he's used to. All right, Mars. Man, Mars is doing a lot of rolling in this chart. Mars is in the eighth, so definitely, not feeling comfortable, but comfortable in the house. So, yeah, this is like not walking on eggshells, right, guys? Ooh, and South Node's on that ascendant too. So yeah, you're finding a lot of things that you might not even feel like you have been shedding when it just comes to kind of like your drive. I'm not really like saying ambition, but it's like whatever like your goals or your purpose are. You're finding like things out that were holding you back, things out that you weren't told. And it's allowing you to make a reassessment of just what you're comfortable to and what you're used to. And now you can really step into um what's destined for you, what's meant for you. Right. So maybe that's getting your astrology or your tarot done, or that's following your path that you're feeling called to, but you feel like you might be called out for it, or folks will talk about you. So make sure you go read Molech and the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, and being comfortable and true with your own needs and what you need that emotionally stimulates you. And Neptune's in the fifth, so yeah, maybe starting like a new project of some kind, maybe reading books here, or learning a new language. That's coming up too. Maybe learning a new language. So yeah. With that, I will yield the floor, and Luna will go void of course. And what was mine? 8 hours, 43 minutes. Yeah. 8 hours, 43 minutes. And with that, I will yield to Living Master. And I think he's still on this thing. So yeah, guys, 9:39. This is even like putting some meditation on while you rest and recharge, or putting your favorite audiobook, or even like a lecture that you like on, and just getting that, absorbing that information while you rest and recharge. And so, well, let me hit that sunrise. All right. And then this is coming up on Tuesday next for you guys, right? Sunrise, 7 degrees there. All right, so now we're finding balance early in this transit of Aries season. Interesting, right? So yeah, definitely feeling recharged and energized. Just about yourself. Like, it's spring now, it's getting warmer, right? Colder for those in the other hemisphere. We got Mercury conjunct Jupiter. You guys will be able to just find a zest for life, a new feel for life. Let's see. Ooh, did it already happen? No, that was the episode.
Man, my phone is rocking today. All righty. So, I think, of course, after this sunrise happening about 7.5 degrees Aries, 7 degrees is life and death, right? Just to be honest with you. And 8 degrees is degree of courage, and M is actually immorality, right? right? So actually for this particular day, for this sunrise actually happening at about 0700 hours, 1 minute and 50 seconds, or 7:01:50 anti-meridian Eastern, from the perspective standing at the Baltimore Corporation, Maryland State Republic, right? So what you can actually find yourselves doing here is really allow yourself to shine a light where it is necessary, so that when it comes to life and death situations, you're really dealing with the healing from the wounds that has occurred. May have been something that wasn't life-threatening as far as your physical life. However, maybe just the normal everyday processes of your life have been interrupted by some inconvenience. What you can do is further expand your knowledge as well as your communications, and making sure that you have that which is necessary that's opposite of your comfort zone, so that you can be able to move forward in pulling the values that are necessary. Maybe it's some possession of yours that was unlawfully detained, maybe some of your properties, maybe your rights are being administered by someone who doesn't have the right to administer your rights without your consent. What you'll be able to do is take that wounded healing and expansively transform your thoughts and communicate that effectively, because it's discomforting, and you want to make sure that what you do is shine a light on what needs to be done. So with that being said, I give my first transit that I have.
All I want is a little light to shine on me.
Yeah. You're hilarious, right? I have a Mercurial Jupiterian conjunction, actually, right? So that is actually taking place, I think, previous to the sunrise. Alrighty, so it's happening about 10 minutes before 0300 hour. Alrighty, and as you can clearly see, both Mercury and Jupiter are in the fourth house, right? So we can find a way to really serve ourselves well and making sure that we're communicating, foreign affairs.
Third.
Pardon me. Oh, yes, it is third, actually. So gratitude indeed. So with that correction, in the third house, 18 degrees Aries, not Taurus, 14 minutes. Interesting, though. 18 degrees Aries. Let's actually look at that, right? 18 degrees Aries. Exaltation of the sun is 19 degrees, but mental fertility and physical passionateness. Look at that with the Mercury's, which is tied to your nervous system, Mercury, alrighty, and just 14 minutes past 18 degrees, along with Jupiter. I really see that there's going to be some very well-stimulated conversation that's going to be had. This might be one of those days that if someone who is in need of correction, actual correction, may try to avoid, which it will not be able to avoid what's going to be said, because I think the people overall, especially those in the local community, will be able to really see what actions need to be taken for the people, because Mercury being conjunct Jupiter there is ruling over Luna and Mars in the sixth house, which I think is pretty interesting, honestly, to say the least, even though it's co-ruling the eighth house with the sun, because Mercury is ruling over Virgo, which is intercepted there. The Virgo Piscean axis is intercepted, which is interesting because both Mercury and Jupiter are co-ruling houses that have intercepted signs within them. Because when you have an intercepted sign, such as like Virgo and Pisces, it's said in some certain astrological circles that we see that the eighth house cusp is on Leo, which is ruled by the sun. However, with an intercepted sign within the eighth house, it would say that Jupiter is co-ruling or co-dispositing for the eighth house with the sun, whereas Saturn is ruling the second house, or dispositor for the second house, and therefore Jupiter would be, and Neptune would be co-dispositors along with Saturn. So what I think we could really see here is making sure that we're expounding upon our communication. It's very interesting to have Mercury and Jupiter here at this 18 degrees, so to speak. If I wasn't mistaken, you were saying that 18 degrees, Brother Sean, is very Virgoan. if I recall properly. So you're saying it's Mercury? It's a Mercury degree. I think you're doing that according to
Indeed. Yeah, that degree theory we was
the
looking
degree theory.
looking
Yeah,
through. So.
absolutely. So I totally get that. Which is very interesting. What I think would be important is for us to make sure that our concepts, we are thoroughly expanding those. However, we're not overindulging in excessive communication. We want to make sure we get to the point, apply the passion where it's necessary in order to be very fertile in our mind and stimulate the thoughts of others. Alrighty, so that with that being said, again, Mercury and Jupiter at 18 degrees Taurus in the third, not the fourth, right? It's in the third house. Alrighty, with that being said, 14 minutes past 18 degrees within the third. So make sure when it comes to communicating, and maybe you're communicating something pertaining to foreign affairs, make sure the ideals that's being communicated pertaining to the foreign affairs really touch home. Think globally, act locally. And with that, I yield for that particular transit. After this, right, about 3 hours and 32 minutes, Luna's ingressing its Domus sign, Cancer. And looky, Astro Cookie, this is happening in the fourth house. So Luna is having accidental dignity in the fourth while also being home, right? Very interestingly so, she's ruling over the fifth, though, however, when it comes to fascination and denial pertaining to children, maybe even your inner child, maybe your creative energies, maybe even how playful you would like to be. So allow yourself to not be cheated here, right? If someone is particularly seemingly to play games and they're denying it, yet they're having a moment of being fascinated with it, don't allow yourself to really get into anything other than making the correction, securing yourself necessarily within your first home, the first home for you spirits inside of these souls. Your first home is your spacesuit called the physical body. Alrighty, so make sure you're definitely being self-secured. Make sure you are esteeming yourself highly, right? Not excessively speaking. However, make sure that as you're securing yourself with the esteem that is necessary, you can be very nurturing to others, provided you are allowing yourself to be nurturing to yourself, and allow no one to be abusive, so to speak, when it comes to these things. Because Mars in Cancer could be someone dealing with domestic violence, right? Because that's what people call it. However, domestic violence is only for federal agents. Alrighty. So what we'll actually say is make sure that while you're home, the actions are productive and constructive. Alrighty. So allow yourself to have productive and constructive securing activities at home, and then allow the mothers and sons to be able to see the value in one another. Alrighty, to really see what each can bring that will be nurturing to each other's soul, by analyzing the ideals of one another, and then showing that you care by doing something in terms of bringing a gift or doing something that would make the other being happy. All righty. And in making them happy, they'll recognize, hey, you actually are paying attention to me. And that provides further security and self-esteem. So be secure, not insecure, and be sincere in making sure that you are active at home by caring mothers for their sons and us sons for our mothers. And with that, I yield the floor, because right after that, looky, Astro Cookie, we had that conjunction with Lunar and Mars. Right? Just under 2 hours later. Right? If I'm not mistaken. Well, under 3 hours later, actually, 2 hours and 57 minutes to be completely clear with that. So happened at 1 degree, 30 minutes Cancer, right? Very interesting to see this actually occurring there. Of course, within the eighth lunar mansion. However, 1 to 3 degrees is fortunate degrees, guys. 1 to 2 degrees is degree pertaining to sight. So there may be something where there's some clarity that's brought forth, some super duper clarity. However, it's going to be something hidden, something secret. You may find out some things by doing a brief investigation. There will be something revealed at your home. It will provide a lot of value to suspicions that you've had. However, what you'll be able to do is really allow yourself to document the things that are necessary so that you can move about as far as making your next moves and your next decisions be a lot more easier, away from your comfort zone towards your soul's destiny, while also making sure that you're relating the values to those sudden changes based on the information that you just gained. Alrighty, whatever information has been poured out to you. So what you can honestly do with that information, all right, and have the insight that's necessary. Have faith. Don't be so militant. However, because what you could do is hurt your back in your aggression. So just have faith with what it is that you're finding to be communicated here with you. Make sure you're very fortunate in how you go about moving. If someone seeks to aggravate you or make you angry or try to make you angry, immediately smile. Because what you're going to recognize in immediately smiling, this is the universe giving you an opportunity to prove how sincere you are when it comes to being an outstanding and uplifting being, because you're first expressing self-love. And expressing that self-love, what you'll be able to do is nurture yourself accordingly and find and possess for yourself psychological value that really no one else could ever, 1, put asunder, 2, take away from you, and 3, discourage you from having. And with that, I yield the floor. The next is Luna trine Saturn. All right, and this is happening, look, now this is less than 2 hours afterwards, right? Saturn trine Luna, right? So a Luna Saturnian trine that's happening here. That's a perfect harmony, right? That's happening there. Saturn's in Pisces, of course. And look, 222. Like one of the sunrises that Brother Sean had, it was 3 degrees, 33 minutes in Aries. Just obviously, 4 days ago, right? From this particular sun degree that I'm just speaking on right there. However, Luna's in the first. It's lunar rise, right? So it's a moon rise, and literally just outside of the 10th house. However, still at particularly closer to the highest point in the sky is Saturn. So for me, this is nearing what is called a Paranatalanta. All right, some people will call it parans when you have an aspect happening at the angles, so to speak. I'll say that in brief. This happened at 1100 hours, 3 minutes, and 18 seconds. All right, or 11:03:18 anti-meridian Eastern for the 28th March 2023, right? So with that being said, guys, what we can do, right, the people, be very fortunate in how you're making sure you're taking the essentials and being firm in how you stand in your foreign affairs. All righty, Saturn's ruling over the 9th house, all righty, while in Pisces. So what can actually be done is the some isolated structure may be the means for you to actually watch the South, so to speak. And in watching the South, what you'll be able to do is make the group of beings that you're around be able to take a self inventory. All right, they'll be able to take an inventory of self so they can be able to better preserve. I would also like to look at Saturn as a preserving energy, not necessarily just limiting. Maybe it's also preserving to limit a certain outcome that's not advantageous. So with that being said, Luna trine Saturn will give self-preservation to the people once the ideas pertaining to world affairs are really brought home. And with that, I yield the floor. Lastly, I have the first quarter moon happening here, right? Solar lunar quartile happening at 22:32 approximately. It's 22:32:09 or 10:32:09 post meridian Eastern. Alrighty, again for the 28th March 2023, right? And that is from the perspective being near the Baltimore Corporation, Maryland State Republic, Luna, right? And Sun. All right, so the square is happening where the Sun is exalted in Aries. However, at 19 degrees actually is the exaltation degree. However, it's in this exaltation sign, wow, having accidental dignity in the fifth. Looky, astro cookie. So some child is going to be able to, and possibly in some way, shape, or form, have to deal with the wounded healing, as far as, pertaining to some expansive communication or some revealing communication, right? However, I think what's going to happen is the mother may have a surprise, right? The mother may show in her, way that she's relating to all of the relatives, right? There's going to be some settling information that's poured out. Maybe even to some child may have to actually deal with troubleshooting some electronic and looking forward to some type of nurturing energy, being able to secure for them a means to have a shared value of some sort. So if your computer goes on the fritz, don't be afraid to ask a loved one to use their computer. All righty. However, this is also a Shukla Paksha quarter moon, so to speak, right? The moon is increasing in light. So with that being said, what's actually going to occur, you may be also allowed an opportunity to win some electronic. If anybody out there win some kind of electronic, whether it's a phone or a computer or a tablet, or even if it's a little electronic, like, hey, look, I won this flashlight or something. Let us know. Let us know what electronic it is that you won. Was it some type of name pulled out of, well, so-called name, but your appellation was, you put your appellation in a hat or something, or it was some type of raffle that occurred and you were able to get your hands on this new electronic, or from some type of electronic competition. I don't know if you are participating in some raffle online and you happen to win. Now what you can do is better secure your home by putting something that may needs to be exalted in sunlight, right? So for those of you that may be winning, I don't know, it could be a plant raffle, right? So to speak. If that's the case and you've won that is supremely awesome. Sun is under Jupiter's dispositorship. Very interesting. Jupiter's in the fifth along with the Sun. So definitely have fun with that game, right? And or if you lost the ticket, right? Or so you don't, make sure you do what you need to do necessary to secure that you have everything, so you don't have to deal with the pain of losing something pertaining to some raffle and or quote unquote lottery pick for yourself. Mercury, they're also in the fifth, right? So Jupiter and Mercury are ruling over the houses pertaining to fifth and eighth houses. So make sure you give the correct information so that things can be sent to you or delivered to you accurately. So you don't have to deal with whatever it is you won in some type of competition or some raffle being sent to the wrong location. And with that, I yield the floor to our beloved brother in whom we're well pleased with the sauce. Unless he had to yield. If the sauce had to yield, then I guess I and brother. Oh no, the sauce is here. Here is the sauce. I had to slide my windows to the left. So we yield to our beloved brother in whom we are well pleased, Brother Terrell Tamari Bey with the sauce. Islam. Bro, Brother Terrell, are you there? All righty. We shall continue. Have a sunrise here, right? Sunrise is taking place at 8 degrees Aries, 30 minutes. Look at that, 8.5 degrees, guys, in Aries. Very, very interesting, right? So we know that 8 degrees is the courage degree as well as immorality, right? So take your choice. Don't be immoral. Be courageous, right? And be courageous and not be immoral, right? 9 degrees is triumph and great generals, right? So maybe someone here will be, it's interesting, back to my theme, maybe someone who has been looked at as an upstanding agent for some type of military outfit, whether it is private security guards on a municipal level, termed police, obviously. However, they are insurance policy enforcers. All righty. With that being said, what's going to be shown is that what needs to happen is the people really need to pull the covers from whoever this being is, right? Wow. And really expose to the people what's really going on behind the scenes. Just because someone has some type of elevated title does not mean they're a good being. So they may appear to be some type of great general. However, you may find a way to be courageous and point out the immorality. So again, guys, make sure you do not be scared in suing the police, suing the sheriff, suing the attorneys. All righty, get familiar. Again, go to the jurisprudence gem to get stronger. All righty, start at rvbaypublications.com and sevenhillstar.com. And then you want to be able to be stronger. Make sure you land at lawfulliving.com and then utilize all 3 websites to keep yourself fresh. And I yield the floor to our beloved brother in whom we're well pleased, Brother Terrell Tamari Bey, Islam.
Yeah, so gain the courage to be yourself. Stop being who they told you to be.
Yeah.
So moving on to sextile Venus, right? So this is good for like really connecting to what really motivates you, or what really brings you a sense of pleasure, in all forms of pleasure, physical, emotional, psychological, right? So the moon's in the 12th, right? Yeah. So this is looking for liberation, and it's not the main thing is for it to not just be physical. Yeah. So this is that sense of like really connecting to the things that you always been connected to. However, you kind of been let's just say you're like you could be afraid of your own talents based on being called whatever names that make you uncomfortable, like weird, in the connotative sense of what weird means or whatever, not the denotative meaning, of course, but that Venus being in the 11th house, so to speak, this is connecting to what the sense of what is it? So it's like a sense of nationhood. So what really brings you, what group economics or what group of people, specifically women, with Venus, actually, helps you sort of get to that next level of, connecting to your feminine side, so to speak. And that's just, being passive and knowing what to like not utilize your energies in the wrong way. And that can go back to that Mars transit in Cancer. It would be wise to really just meditate on one's emotional processing and not really be so moved by how one feels, but rather connect to why you feel that way to get a better understanding on what you do and why you do it, so to speak, right? So astrology would be like a very helpful tool to utilize around this time, because it'll give you a sense of clarity on the why is this thing again, connecting to the essence of the question why, because the why is, it's always like Why is this the sense of doubt in some sense? Okay, moving on. The moon's going to sextile Uranus, right? Uranus is in Taurus, and the moon's still in Cancer, right? So the moon's in the 11th house. I said sextile. I'm in conjunction. That's not possible. What am I looking at?
Yeah, it's a sextile. It's got
Golly,
Uranus. Wow,
my
Uranus
eyes
is
hurt.
nice. Jesus Christ.
Goodness gracious, this is so horrible. Okay, anyway. So yeah, Uranus and Placidus. I'm starting to not like it. Yeah, so Uranus is in the 9th house, right? And yeah, the moon's in the 11th. Okay. So yeah, this is just the initiative to restart studying the astrological fields of study, or the philosophical things, possibly, but I think it's Bhakti yoga, pertaining to why, or some sense of worship, but not in the sense of like I have to bow down to you. It's really just knowing that you are what it is that you're looking for. However, you may need to connect to you may need to hear it in like in a fairy tale way, like about dragons and fairy tales and all of that, to make it kind of make a little bit more sense for you to think you're able to process it, so to speak, right? So that's really how that's going. Sure. So yeah, the philosophies, the philosophical studies, and really finding out how one can basically heals one wound with one studies, specifically like wanting to study psychology, but then there's a recognition that astrology and psychology are one and the same. However, the comprehension of the study, whatever it is, astrology specifically, you have to comprehend it to actually be able to find remedy based in what you may be looking at. So if you don't really know what Chiron or what the 9th house signifies, and what's the lord of your 9th house and the conditions of your 9th house, or the conditions of the lord of your 9th house, all of those things being taken into consideration will give you all of the questions that you may be asking, rather than just getting like the superficial or like the surface level of healing, so to speak, or really the essence of actual self-care, rather than the surface level sense of self-care. Like, yeah, I took myself to get a pedicure, but I didn't. But I don't know. It's like, but I don't meditate because that's demonic. I don't know, just stupidity and whatever. I don't know. I can't do it, but I try. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much how that's gonna, play itself out. It's like, getting into inventing something within the studies that you may be studying, connecting more intricately to the philosophies of life rather than the superficialities of life. All right, moving on. So the moon's going to square Jupiter. So this is like the resurfacing, or the reanalyzing what you may have been into and why you were into it. But then it's like this is a sense of growing within that study, so to speak. So the moon's in the 10th and Jupiter's in the 7th. So this is the moment of like you could study two different philosophies with, okay, so there's the Christian there's the Christian who thinks he's a Christian based off of what he thinks Christianity is, and then there's this Buddhist, I guess we'll use a Buddhist, who kind of clarifies the Christian, because the Christian says if you don't do this thing, you're gonna go to hell. The Buddhist brings this sense of clarity to the monotheistic monothesis way of thinking. Is like a sense of it's sort of degrading in the sense of what we are capable of. So it's like, so since if we come from the creator of creators, why would we be so limited? You know what I mean? And then it's like, that's because, and then it's like, no, that wouldn't even make sense, because you just said you come from the absolute. So what makes you not absolute based off of what? Well, because you didn't give me $5 on Sunday. Come on. That's not authentic. That doesn't pertain to actual religion. Like what religion actually is, rather than what you're told it is. You've basically been given a sense of control, a sense of dogma, to be put in a box and to run on a hamster wheel. So now this is the moment, like, whoa, hold on, I can stop the hamster wheel and have a whole new process of what is versus what's not, connecting to the absolute, which we all can do, and it isn't based off of whatever they tell you it is, because the priesthood is dead. So knowing that you are that, this is pretty much that energy. And it's like, okay, so now when it's challenged, you can operate through it effectively. And it's not in the sense of ignorance, because you just know who you are. You know, the truth, simply will fade away all ignorance. It will be no more. So, just connecting to that energy of what the truth is, which it just is. It isn't mine. My truth is my, no, I'm not doing that. The truth is, and that's it. So that knowing and living based off of that energy is pretty much what's being emphasized. And now it's being amplified, because all deceitful things and wicked things and things of misery are being destroyed. Very beautiful. Yep. And with that, I yield.
Islam. Alrighty, y'all. That is what it is. I was sending this thing out. It looks like there's a jurisprudence meetup right now, reading the Judiciary Act. I think we're going to get on over to that. Guys, I'd like to thank you all so much for joining. I and my beloved brothers, in whom I'm well pleased, brother Terrell Tamari Bay and brother Sean Aline L. Like to thank for being in the background. Oh, let me cue you real quick, bro. I didn't know you was not spotlighted. Boom. As well as thank you for joining us to one of the future awesome political arena truth tellers I'm foreseeing. John Alexander Diggs. Like to appreciate me. I like to give my appreciation for you joining us while chilling in the green room, as we call it, right? In the back. Yeah, man, gratitude. Because like I said before, man, it's not too many, Albion sons and daughters that really show sincere. Like, it's like one thing to go over the more science, because you think we're saying, well, this is how you'll be looked at if you do this. Nah, that's very Molech worshipy. And it's just that I've seen that what you've done, bro, is taking time to see these things on your own, as well as even when you were like, John was like, yeah, man, I read Clock of Destiny book 1 and book 2 in one day. I was like, what? Like, I even went over that joint a couple times, like a few pages. Like, let me make sure I'm comprehending this page. Like, I might got through both those books in a weekend, so to speak. A strong beginning, actually, is how I like to refer to what most people call a weak end. I prefer strong beginning. However, with that being said, guys, like I said, I'd like to thank John Alexander Dix. And you know, I say there's a bay there because he's enforcing law, right? So I will go out on a limb here and say John Alexander Dix Bay. And I know some people are going to be like, but that's an Albion son. How can, look, it's a lot of Muslim sons that are subjects under Moorish law. However, that's the best protection you could ever have, being under what's called Muslim law. Like, that's being protected within that, you know, protective circle. What else would you prefer? I mean, are there any other Moorish Americans that are bringing the Great Seal truth pertaining to who the Moorish nation is? I'll wait. Clock of Destiny Book 2 reveals to you before you even get to the introduction of who the Moorish nation is. How are our sons and daughters not? It all depends on, you know, sincerity, and not really if we're copper toned or pale skinned. There are some pale skins that are more Moorish American than any copper tones out here will be. And there are some copper tones out here who look like they should be in, they should be in dogs' bodies instead of these human bodies, and be very honest, based on their behavior, to be completely honest with you. However, guys, go to sevenhillstar.com and continue to enjoy the truth here. I know I didn't go to YouTube at all to see who was there at YouTube. I did not go and see who is all here. All right, so as far as any comments, I see Jadon says, Jadon L says, still Moorish. Still Moorish, right? And indeed, and to the 9 of you that are still here, not sure how many of you actually joined. But thank you all so much. Thoroughly appreciate you. Make sure you're doing your best in keeping groups of beings that call themselves fraternal orders of police, keep them in order. Make sure you guys are like fuck that basketball game or any other sports games. You guys need to be making sure you're hitting law libraries. Make sure you're going to websites pertaining to different municipalities, checking the municipal code of the city and county that is near you, because a city and a county is only a document in some file cabinet, and then they're operating that city and or county within a building. It is not spread out all over the land. A county is not your house or apartment. All righty, so you can't really deal with some sheriff doing extra jurisdictional practices. This is why you would ask them, hey, what's the truth pertaining to your jurisdiction, and by what authority are you purporting to try to do said eviction, right? So for those of you out there that are dealing with those types of threats, all right, and you're a part of the jurisprudence gem, right, rent-free, mortgage-free, and making sure that we're keeping these beings from doing federal, forcible entries and detainers without having an actual HUD hearing that is conducted by 42 United States Code 1437 DK. All righty, so we need to make sure we're holding these beings accountable and not allowing them to be extrajudicial, right? Which is actually mal-jurisdictional and mal-judicial. It's the worst actions that could possibly be committed by these beings in uniform who call themselves law enforcement. They are not law enforcement. Stop calling them that. Don't give them that fake respect. Don't try to stroke their ego because they want to use the practices and the acting classes that they take and the hypnosis and psychology courses that they take to try to hold most beings that don't know how to even check their constitution and bylaws pertaining to said fraternal orders of police or anyone. Make sure you hold these beings to who they are supposed to be. Stop allowing them to go above and beyond their Terry stop. Stop allowing them to go above and beyond how they are actually supposed to operate. You guys, you don't need to be thinking, oh, well, I need a picket fence and a picket sign and we need to go march and all these things. No, you don't. You don't need to march. What you need to do is study and then use pen and paper to kick their ass, period. My favorite thing that I'm going to make sure I perfect is putting a lien on their assets so that they can't do anything. They can't swipe their cards. They can't go to the bank. That's where you guys need to be. Alrighty, stop being scared of policy enforcers. These are regular people who 9 times out of 10 were the fucking clowns and goofies in high school, who now think they have some fucking kind of, I got authority because now I got a piece of metal on my titty and a bulletproof vest. So hopefully you got a bulletproof vest on your face. So that's a headshot. Hint, hint. So with that being said,
real quick. Yo, listen.
Yeah, I yield.
Just let me add to that, because it's like there's more people, meaning us, than people who are labeled as policy enforcers.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm sure we did this before, or said this before. So if you see someone on the side of the road being unlawfully detained, and there's 12 of you, and there's 2 policy enforcers,
sincere Moors should be kicking ass. Literally, hey, there's something wrong because we're the real law enforcement. You guys are just trying to force somebody into a contract. Because I'm not about violence. I'm for peace and not destruction. However, when you see people who will purport to utilize violence instruments, tasers, pistols, to try to detain someone in a situation, I'm telling you, you think it's people on YouTube sharing stories about police getting shot. That's about to turn up. And I'm not promoting that. I'm not for that. I'm so for peace and not destruction. I'm just letting you guys know that you really want to do something, learn the municipal codes that they're organized under. Learn the statutes for the state that they're in. You're not in the state. They are. And you need to come somewhere like RV Bay Publications, 7heelstar.com, lawfulliving.com to make sure you're rolling that in your mind. However, time for me to go and hit the jurisprudence gem. I already sent to the chat, bros. Malika said that they're reading the Judiciary Act. I'm finna check it out. We love you all. Look for your emails tomorrow. But I'm gonna be listening to this Judiciary Act while I'm putting together this injunction. Swish! All righty, that's what's going to happen. And I'm sharing out risk management stuff to loved ones that have been unlawfully accosted, making sure they're immediately putting reports on the policy enforcers with those last names and badge numbers that I was able to get for them. And with that, any other questions, comments, and or suggestions from our beloved brothers in whom we're well pleased?
Get your astrology reports ASAP.
Mm-hmm. And mirror sessions. And be yourselves and
Donate.
Islam. Donate. We love you all. This is where I and my beloved brothers, on behalf of Brother Terrell Tamari Bey, Brother Corey Bey, Brother Sean Ali Mel, Brother Ara Muwaba Bey, this is where we say and thank you again to our beloved son in whom we're well pleased, John Alexander Dix Bey. We say namaste, namaste, namaste to you all. Islam, 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 y'all.